Welcome to a Pressbox special presentation. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. On the show today, we have a man who knows his fitness. Super kind guy, super generous to the community. We have on owner-operator at Resolution Fitness, Paul Gabay. Paul Gabay, he's a great guy. So stay tuned. We're going to talk all about his fitness world, personal training, what he's got going on. You're watching Pressbox on the Disability Channel. I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Dave Stevens for the Disability Channel.
An inability to break out. I'm sitting by the door on the second floor, losing my 7-year war. It's not an illusion, so why the exclusion?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's about you. So,
You say you're a disability dynamo.
Joining me, and welcome to this beautiful Travelers Championship.
I only want one accolade from you.
So my story is unique, it's amazing, but it's not anything that you guys don't have inside of you. I'm not a hero, I'm not anybody special, I'm just this guy without legs that went out, and I just did it.
Stats outweigh the Democrats, the diplomats, and the bureaucrats.
This is probably your first interview down on the ground on your butt and stuff like that?
time ever,
All
baby.
right.
Eliminate and validate and validate and validate.
Stay with us and the Disability Channel.
Welcome back to the show. Again, I'm Jay Stoyan. You're watching Pressbox. Hey, and before we get started, we're live on Facebook, so do comment and we will comment back. Thanks again for supporting us. On the show today, we have on owner-operator at Resolution Fitness, Paul Gabay. Paul, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
This is great. Now, we go back a little bit, Paul. I think we've been interacting probably online for about maybe 3-4 years, perhaps.
Yeah, I would say goes far back then at this point. Yeah.
I think so, either through LinkedIn and or Instagram. I know we been interacting and I've been following you guys. And I want to let everybody know that Paul was so nice and generous. He supported our December 1st fundraiser at Legion 60 out here in Burlington. It was a sold out show showcasing the veterans, showcasing our employment programs. And Paul was kind enough to donate. You tell us what you donated, Paul.
A few accessories that could be used in the adaptive community. Some bands, accessories, balls, just some mixture of products, primarily some Stroops exercise bands that are great for resistance training and easy to set up. So I'm happy that the prizes went well, and I look forward to working with you again over time.
Yeah, they went well. We had a really nice silent auction table, so they were part of our silent auction prizes. I think we had about maybe, I'm going to say up to 40 gifts on our table, and I think pretty much everyone went. We had door prizes. So again, that was our fundraiser. The Disability Channel, we showcase our employment programs for persons with disabilities and veterans through the endorsement and funding of the Ontario government and now the federal government. So if you're interested in learning about new media skills or just try something new, either become a talk show host like myself or behind the camera as an audio person or a camera editing, social media, give us a call or check out our website, www.thedisabilitychannel.ca. Paul, thanks so much. So let's talk about your career. Now, I know you've been in the fitness world for some time. So tell us about your shirt and tell us about your company. Then I got a lot of great follow-up questions. So let's go first about your company.
Okay. Well, my company, Resolution Fitness, specializes in traditional exercise equipment with a focus on adaptive and wheelchair accessible products as well. I've been in health and fitness ever since university, selling retail fitness equipment at some of the big stores. And then over time, found myself personal training, doing some group fitness, from spin classes to boot camps. And all that's kind of evolved to me starting my own business to kind of deliver all the products and services and information that I've kind of amassed over the number of years. And the focus on adaptive fitness really stuck out to me in the last 3 to 4 years, in the sense that I saw a lot of need in that area, and a lot of people who could be in the fitness community or various communities and health clubs that aren't properly being serviced. So started to bring those products to the forefront. And my goal is to have the largest catalog of adaptive and wheelchair accessible products for those living with a disability.
Well, I really commend you on that. That's obviously what we wanted to touch on, right? The accessible part of the fitness. So tell us now, you are an able-bodied person, or kind of like all of us, kind of able-bodied, kind of disabled. We're a little bit of both, right? So being an able-bodied guy, though, what gave you the inspiration to get into, I guess, our world? Like, tell us that story.
It was kind of strange, really, because like I grew up, and in my life, like when I was younger, even especially elementary, I was exposed to people living with disabilities, like as a child, and for some reason that just dropped off. I never saw people like that throughout main areas of my life, from my health club to my profession, and especially being in health and fitness as long as I've had. I was exposed to the traditional fitness equipment, treadmills, bikes, ellipticals, home gyms that are typically designed for able-bodied people. But throughout the years, I've been to trade shows in the US. I've been exposed to different brands of products, and there's always been a lot of, maybe I shouldn't say a lot, but there's been a variety of products that have been on the market, typically skewed towards rehabilitation, that can be beneficial to a lot more people that I felt had exposure to it. And through working with one of my customers, a university in Toronto, they were at one point a few years back trying to make one of their fitness spaces more inclusive because of the number of people that attend their university who were living with disability that hadn't been properly serviced. And it was interesting that they'd asked that question, because I was like, I know of quite a few brands and seen a lot of stuff. Like, give me some time to kind of pull some stuff together. And that kind of all happened around the time where I was starting my business. And once I did that deep dive, I felt, wow, every university should have these products. Every rec center should have these products. And it's kind of grown in a way where now I'm trying to present that as one of the products that I lead with. Not every condo, not every school, not every corporation necessarily bites when I present those options first, but I'm trying to make a point of letting them know that these products exist, and hopefully the more people that know these products exist will start to really understand the need for them. And
well, as you're speaking, I'm watching our Facebook page and people are commenting about that. Like, that's great. I love that you sort of outside of your own box, and you realize there was a need for, the ability world to get involved in fitness. Now, you also said that you're a personal trainer, and I want to ask you a couple of questions about that. So obviously, I would assume you train able-bodied people and people with disabilities.
I really haven't trained too many people living with disabilities. Although I've been a personal trainer, it's not been one of my main practices. I've actually been more of a group fitness coach, from spin to boot camps, and that was a little bit more my kind of earlier training years within the last 10 to 15 years. But with regards to the groups and people that I've worked with or been exposed to, not that I've been the actual trainer, I've been working with Wheelchair Rugby Canada with regards to their events. Their third one that I'll be a part of, their national championships happening in Calgary. I'll be out there with them.
Doing what now? Tell me what you'd be doing with them.
Basically, I'm going to be showcasing some of the products that I sell. I also sponsor the Rising Star, or you can almost call it the like an MVP type of the tournament, or Rookie of the Year type of, or Rookie of the Event type of award. In the past, donated an Invictus Active Trainer, which is kind of a wheelchair roller that helps with training and development. Trying to come up with something a little more exciting and for this coming year. But
when is that, Paul, in Calgary? When are you going there?
That's going to be happening the weekend of May 17th to 20th.
Well, make sure you keep us posted, because we love to support that. I think that's a great endeavor. Yeah, please let us know and we will support it. Now, you're talking about some of your products. Could you Could you tell us about what some of those products are, and maybe later what we can do? Because obviously this is live right now. So right now we're live on Facebook, and it's blowing up on pages. People are asking questions. So when we edit, I'd like to be able to maybe put some visuals, or if you have a video, into the version of our edited show so people can see some of your products. But in the meantime, maybe you could tell us what some of your products are.
Okay, well, as mentioned, like the traditional products people might see at a health club, that's a big part of what I do, but that's mainly because that's where the majority of products sit. But when it comes to adaptive equipment, I work with a great supplier in the U.S. called Equip Products. They make a variety of products that are tailored to individuals who are living with a disability that can service people who use a wheelchair, people who are missing a limb or amputee, visually impaired. So things like split end skipping ropes that are weighted on each side, but by doing the skipping motion, they can kind of train their upper body, shoulders. Another brand of equipment I work with is Pro Maxima that offer a series of adaptive strength equipment where the seats can kind of position out and allowing a wheelchair to kind of get in position to do various strength exercises. Another great brand, my primary brand, Free Motion Fitness, is one of the pioneers in cable machines and user-defined movements. A lot of their products are designed not specifically for users who are in a wheelchair or have a disability, but the nature of the design of the equipment allow for wheelchair users to approach the machine, have the ability to make adjustments, and based on the cable position that they're taking and the type of machine they're working with, train a variety of different body parts. And another of my primary brands, Stroops, they actually are designed, they actually are the masters when it comes to resistance band training. They've got different anchors, straps, attachments that can benefit people with amputee or people who
There you go.
People who are training from a seated position can do a variety of exercises, from anchors to their door to a tree, various different things that are around to train various parts of their body. And that's kind of I guess a touch on some of the brands and products that I carry. But you can always do a deep dive into my website to see some of the other products.
Yeah, why don't you give out your website, and then we're going to take a quick break, but give out your website first, Paul.
Okay, my website's www.resolutionfitness.ca, just like on my shirt, Resolution Fitness, and it's .ca. Some people start looking for .com, but I tried to keep it Canadian with the .ca.
That's great. On his show today, we have owner-operator at Resolution Fitness, Paul Gabay. He tells all about his wonderful career, how he helps able people, how he helps disabled people, how he's connected to the veteran community. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Again, on the show today, we have owner-operator from Resolution Fitness. We have Paul Gabay. You're watching Press Box. Now, Paul, tell us a little bit how you're intertwined with the veteran community, if you can. And I know you mentioned earlier about the Evictus.
Yeah. Well, the Invictus trainer is actually separate from the Invictus games.
Yeah.
But as I've kind of researched different products, it does lead me towards finding groups that are working, or groups that will benefit from these products. So different rehab facilities and physiotherapy clinics that uh, tailor to people who are living with disability or experience an injury. They are often the type of groups that will look for my products. I've worked with groups like WCB and WSIB fairly frequently in supplying products that can help people post injury. I've been chatting quite a bit in the past with Spinal Cord Ontario,
Okay.
and different groups like that. I've really been trying to foster a partnership. Parasport Ontario is a group that I've done a lot of work with. Variety Village, great people there. I try to be involved with them as much as I can. And another great group called Flex for Access their focus is actually to help fitness facilities become more inclusive and more adaptive and cater to the broader community of those who want to be fit and active. And as mentioned, Wheelchair Rugby Canada, that's a group that I'm really excited about continuing my relationship with. And so far it's been great.
So let me ask this, because over the like we've known each other for the last couple of years. I think we met. I can't remember if we met just prior to COVID or during COVID, but as you know, so many businesses and just so many things have changed since COVID, and now COVID's gone. But
Mhm.
can you tell us how you adapted? Like how did you manage, and where are you now? Like I know a lot of people, they had a studio back in the day and now they have a home studio, or they take their talents on the road. So how did it affect you, and how did you adapt, Paul?
You know what? I think that was one of the advantages, oddly to say, the pandemic, because like a lot of people, I was in a specific role with a specific company, and the pandemic shook things up. It put me in a position where I made the steps towards starting my own business that had always been in the back of my mind. And
Okay.
based on the nature of what I do, I primarily focus on commercial grade equipment for commercial settings like schools, hotels, condos, etc. So those products aren't typically off the shelf. So when
Okay.
I started approaching a lot of the customers that I've worked with in the past, and kind of just putting myself out there, I was in a position to basically present them with options, show them what they were looking for, and if everything went well, was able to source and supply the product. So the relationships I've built up over the 20 plus years in the fitness industry allowed me to have a direct connection with a lot of these suppliers, and through that avenue of working with everybody,
Yeah.
maybe not excluding groups based on their ability or their level of ability, it kind of gave me a little bit of a niche to really approach different customers and clients, and people who could really see the need and what I was recommending.
So let me ask you this: would you consider yourself more, because you sort of like a double threat here? Like, so would you be more of a personal trainer or more of a goods and service guy?
I think I'm more of a goods and service guy with
Okay.
experience in health and fitness. And there may be a lot of people out there with that, but I don't know that everyone kind of ties everything in. I heard recently that people had said that, oh, well, there's very limited. I heard this on a podcast that kind of made me laugh. That said that there's really no barrier to get into the health and fitness industry. So you got to be very careful who you listen to. But I think that's really far from the truth. I think there's a really deep profession in the people who present health and fitness solutions, whether it be equipment or whether it be information, to help people achieve their health and fitness goals. And with that said, that's why it's even more important to consider those who have limited ability or need various options to overcome certain barriers to health and fitness, because ultimately we're designed to move, and regardless of the limitations, movement is really medicine, and the more we can give people those opportunities and solutions to do that, people will be healthier and live longer, which is ultimately, that's my goal. So I assume that's people's goal too.
Well, that's great for sharing. Thank you for that. And can you tell our viewers now, do you have like a price point of your products? Like they range from $12 to $150 or something like that. Can you tell our viewers?
They do, they really can range from $10 to thousands of dollars in all honesty. Especially the products that you'll find in a health club or rec center, many of which are I like to use the term universally designed. You can buy a certain machine designed for chaining your chest, but instead of what you see in the gym where it's more fixed to an able-bodied user, the machine could be designed in different ways. Like something like that going into a health club would be a lot more expensive versus fitness accessories like medicine balls and bands. Those could be a lot less expensive, a little bit more accessible from a budget standpoint. But there's a variety of solutions available to people to find fitness on a personal level, and what I really hope to see is on the commercial level, because a health club buying X amount of dollar or X amount of dollar number of pieces of equipment can make it a lot more accessible to a community versus the individual trying to amass that type of equipment into their basement, and not at the same time, not price wise, that might not make sense to try and have every piece of possible fitness equipment. But that's why I like to see health clubs and rec centers be a little bit more inclusive, because really they're halfway there in a lot of cases.
This is great, Paul. Well, we all know, how important health is to your frame of mind and your health, obviously. So, and as being a fitness guy myself, I know how much it's helped me. I like to get up every morning and do my fitness. And it's a nice breath, fresh air, positive way to start the day. And, there's so many people on our platform that are they need so much support. They need help. They're trying to stay healthy. They're trying to improve themselves. I would love it for you to come onto our Facebook page on a regular basis and just give a couple tips to our veterans, to our persons with disabilities. Maybe they can ask you questions. They can send you an email. I'd love for you to be a part of our station, because we're all about sports. And I think what you do is amazing. It's positive. You're trying to help people. And we would love to open up the door and just say, an open door, Paul, you come on anytime. You can, we can help you. Maybe if people want to say, hey, I want to meet Paul, how do I get in touch with him? Say, if I want to get some advice from him, do a consultant class, do a gym with him. So can you give us some information? Like, give us your website again, if you're happy to give out whatever you want to give us, because I'm sure people are listening that want to maybe get in touch with you, but I'd love to start to interact with you more, Paul.
Yeah, Jay, I'd do that. And if you don't mind, can I share one thing as well on something you just said? I like people, especially health club owners, rec centers, facilities, to consider the demographic of the people in their health club, and then consider that 10-15% of people in Ontario at least are living with a disability, and many of that number with a physical disability. If you look around your club and see that there aren't many people in your health club that have that, consider that you could have 10-15% more people using your space. And taking outside that financial element, you mentioned something about that kind of touched on mental health. When I go to the gym, and I go pretty regularly, I see a lot of the same people every day. Not everyone I know personally, but I see a lot of the same faces. I smile at people as I walk past them on a machine, and they do the same. And in some ways, it's a big community. Same for my wife. Like we spend a lot of time in that same space. I had this conversation a while ago when it comes to the fact that when you go to the gym, you aren't in a community. And as I mentioned before, I didn't see a lot of people living with disabilities, but it's because there aren't really spaces that have them looked after. So what I want to see in the future is when I go to a health club, regardless of what kind of equipment I want to look at, I am seeing more people who represent what is really out there in the world, and make it, and that maybe shouldn't even really just be on fitness equipment. That could be in health, that could be in like hotels,
everything. It's everything.
And everything.
Yeah, everything.
But ultimately, when people, and I've heard this through conversations, people living with disability can be in spaces that are accessible, that now makes them a part of that broader community, regardless of whether they have a disability. So I love to be in a place where the health clubs I'm going to have people who are there who either are amputees or people who have visual impairment or people who are in a wheelchair that can actually maneuver around the health club.
How about virtually?
Virtually is another great option, but at the same time, I really do think there's something to be considered when it comes to being in person.
It is. I'm just talking virtually for the people who aren't able.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Who are in person is definitely better, but obviously our community, a lot of them are mobility issues, but they would love to tune in like we're tuning in.
Yes.
And the 20-minute workout, right? And you know what I mean? Yeah, right. So what I'd love to, let's connect after. So again, Paul, people want to get in touch with you. Please do give up your website.
Yes, resolutionfitness.ca. Please check it out. I try to have it, make it easy to kind of navigate and find a variety of products. And if you can't find it through clicking through the images, just type into the search bar. If there's something specific you're trying to find, that should also help. I'm also on Instagram at Resolution FITNS, and also on Facebook at Resolution Fitness Services. So please reach out. You can access my email through any of those platforms. And if there's any questions or any ways that I can help support you in making your fitness spaces more inclusive and help you give more life to people, please let me know.
That's great, Paul. I really thank you. And again, I really thank you for supporting our fundraiser back on December 1st at the Legion 60 for the veterans. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to come back and wrap the show with a couple updates. Again, you're watching Press Box. I really want to thank the owner and operator at Resolution Fitness, Paul Gabay, for being on today. Thanks, Paul. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks, Facebook people. Blow it up. We'll be right back with Press Box.
Are you currently on ODSP? If you're interested in social media marketing, TV production, podcasting, or getting off assistance, please contact Jay Stoyan at 647-339-6847 or Jay at thedisabilitychannel.ca. The Disability Channel, showcasing abilities.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Press Box. We had on wonderful guests from Resolution Fitness, Paul Gabay. Before we wrap the show, I just want to give a few updates. Watch for the Today Show, as we're going to be expanding with some great elements, great subjects, great guests. We're all about the veterans. Right now, we have a federal pilot program going on for accessibility employment programs in media. Check us out. We want you to join. We want you to enroll. Go call the VA, say, hey, I want to take these programs because I want to hold a camera or I want to be a talk show host. So again, you're watching Press Box. This was a special presentation. Make sure to watch our regular host, Dr. Lori Davis, and former NHL player Doug Smith, every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. They have a wonderful show. It's all about improving lives, talking updates, talking sports. Again, I'm Jay Stoyan. We'll see you next time on Press Box.